G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Gee, I hope the possum sun is still here. Hello, look at that. There's the possum. Now, here's why I think this possum is so happy with me. Do you see how the possum is white on the chest? Yeah, well, guess what? Ringtail possums are not like that. Sorry, brushtail possums are not like that. Do you see how up there on the top of the ears? See how there's little white bits? Can I tell you what that's from? Why it is so? The reason this possum has such a white chest, the reason this possum has the white patches on the backs of the ears, it's because this is either the grandchild or the great-grandchild of the ringtail possum from Waitalabar that I brought up here in a bag about 20 years ago, and I didn't know it was a ringtail possum. I thought it was a brushtail possum, and I brought what I thought was a brushtail possum. A friend of mine who lived on the hippie commune, he really didn't like possums, and he'd been fighting with this particular possum for months and months and months, maybe years. And he said to me, "I've caught the bastard. I've got them. It's in a bag. It's all tied up. I want you to take it to the top of the bloody big hill, and I want you to let the possum go on top of the big hill. See them white patches? Guess what? Brushtail possums do not have white on the top of their ears. Ringtail possums are white all over. Look how much white there is on this fella." So, anyway, I think to myself, if I let this thing go anywhere in the Manor River Valley, they're territorial. They're going to go back, and the ringtail possum will be stuck fighting with my mate. And I don't want it to be fighting with my mate. So, what I've done is I brought the bag up to my place before having a look inside, because, guess what? If you've got a possum in the superphosphate bag tied up with baling twine, once you open it, you can't put it back, right? Somebody who's been very careful to get it into a trap and then put the trap inside the neck of the bag and then shake it into the bag. Like, it's kind of hard to get a possum into a bag. I wouldn't ever try. I'm not that sort of a person. But my friend was. And I come up here thinking that if I'm 50 kilometres away, the ringtail, sorry, I thought it was a brushtail. The brushtail possum from Whitetail about it, it's never going to go back to Whitetail about it. And I opened the bag, took off the baling twine, and guess what I found? It was not a brushtail possum. It was a pure white ringtail possum, just like in the National Parks and Wildlife Service brochures. And I thought, oh, golly gosh, gee darn and shucks. Guess who's just indulged in a bit of biological imperialism, letting one species go in a place where somebody else lives. And for about, 15 years, the ringtail possum from Waitalabar, 50 kilometres east of here, lived in a particular tree. And about 2018, that tree died in the drought. And although I have posted video of the white ringtail possum drinking at my water dishes, before that I haven't seen it since, and the tree's dead. And then there were no possums for 4 years. And guess what? Then all of a sudden, a possum come back. And it had a little joey, or a pup, whatever you want to call it, on its back. And this is the joey, the pup. And I think it's either the grandchild or the great-grandchild of the ringtail possum that I brought up here 20 odd years ago. And the reason this little fella thinks that I'm really good value is because this fella's parents told it how this fella's grandparents explained to it that I brought it from the place where it was their grandfathers or grandmothers were persecuted for just trying to eat scraps, food scraps. And I brought it up here and I let it go and it found a tree and behold, I gave them free water in my dishes and food scraps on the lawn. And these are the possums that never try to come into my hut because they know I'm going to put food in the yard. If I've got food scraps, that's where I throw it. They don't need to come and invade my space because they know I share my spare food. So yeah, I'm kind of a totemic human for hybrid ringtail, brushtail cross possums. And this particular family line, they really kind of only exist because I didn't understand that my mate on my telebar was telling me that he was giving me an East Coast ringtail Man River possum and I shouldn't bring it west of the dividing range. But here I am, 1.5 kilometres west of the watershed. And I've apparently come up with a hybrid species, the brushtail ringtail crosses, because, like life on an endangered species sanctuary is kind of warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.